Hello and welcome to the Carbitrage podcast, episode 267. I'm Eric Berger, joined as always by my co-host Ryan Sininsky. Hello.
Hey, I have two thumbs.
Hi, Jenna.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Cool. Sounds good. All right. First things first, beer. We are nearing the end of the special edition old-style can of Hamm's.
Yes, we are. We're dangerously close. I'm going to keep this can really nice. So I'm going to wash it out and put it on display.
I'll have to get a Total Wine after this week. Shoot, I'll have to go because, there's not any beer left.
And beer.
That's not going to work for the next recording. Okay.
No.
All right.
We're not going to share a beer.
No. No, God, no. This is America.
Yeah.
Before we get into the first topic, which I am unreasonably excited for, I want to quickly touch on our Patreon page.
Yep,
Patreon.com/Carbitrage. On this page, you'll find 3 open-end levels of support starting at $1 that you can help us support hosting costs and beer and stuff like that. Okay,
And it will
Patreon.com/Carbitrage.
also allow us to buy
a
2024 Fiat 500 electric.
Which is
now coming to America.
Yay! So, I, midweek, was given this information, I think, first by
me.
You, and then I sent it to Scott, and then Corey independently sent it to me after you did. So I'm like, are we going to end up with like 4 brand new Fiat 500Es?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
My friend Chris, there's 2 Chris's in California that are very similar. Chris Green, I think, is the one that sent me this link. Yeah, make sure I'm not misremembering that. They'll both be at our wedding, so.
Don't make promises. We haven't even made the guest list yet.
So anyway, while Ryan is searching, the European model is the one that's getting shown off tomorrow.
It was Chris that's from California that sent it to me, who is a friend of mine.
A California Chris.
Yes.
Okay, well, at least we have that information sorted.
Yes.
So this car will be officially announced at the LA Auto Show tomorrow. Is that correct?
Thursday, as in day before yesterday. It's already been announced. But
well,
we'll be going more into depth on what they showed at Los Angeles next episode.
Okay.
So.
But they brought a European spec car to the LA Auto Show, so that's not going to be what we get. But I'm curious to see how they're going to update it.
Yeah, because by the time we get it, this car's already been out for 2 years in Europe, if I'm not mistaken.
2020 was the unveiling. Yep.
Yeah, so it's going to be mid-model refresh is what they're going to do. And I think it's clever what Fiat did here. Because Fiat doesn't have money to take an L. Like, if they have a car, it's a dud. They're dead in the water.
Now, when you say L, do you mean Fiat 500L?
Kind of. I mean, no, those are successful. That's currently keeping them afloat. Actually, it's the X. It's not even the L anymore.
Which they've sold 740 this calendar year.
Doing great, Fiat.
Yep. It's weird what happens when you don't bring new product and you let your existing product stagnate.
And then you just literally have other cars that are available in Europe that we would like.
Correct.
And then you don't bring them here.
Yep.
Yeah. Amazing. That's also what happens when Fiat is brought here by the parent company that owns Chrysler, and then the dude that brought it here dies, and somebody from Chrysler takes over Fiat.
Yep.
And that's why they have not brought anything here.
What's this company over here? I don't know what that is.
Yeah. No, the only reason Fiat still exists is because they own Chrysler. And if Chrysler tried to kick them out of here, Fiat would just let Chrysler die.
I'm like, well, you're going to have to find a new parent company. So good luck in this recession.
Exactly. It's like, it's another recession. So it's like, oh, we tided you over for exactly one financial cycle.
Right.
And now you're on your own for the next recession. Have fun with your giant trucks.
Right back where we were, because the old new Fiat 500 was announced the year of the huge recession in the United States. Yep. We got it 4 years later. Interesting. Huge recession right now. We're going to get a Fiat in 2 years.
Yep.
Did I mention also, the last time they brought an electric one to offset a huge number of CAFE credits, and that's going to be exactly what this one is too. Mm-hmm. And it makes perfect sense. It's a great, really, really well-selling, beautiful, small EV.
So I have a link here. If you look in the background immediately behind it, that appears to be a Fiat 500X convertible.
Oh, yeah.
In the poster. I want that.
I don't want an X at all, but I do like the rolly top roofs.
Yeah, no, I would like that because my dad recently bought a big dumb Mazda because he decided he needed a truck, even though his truck has less interior space than my mom's subcompact Mazda because he's an idiot and my dad doesn't fucking know how to think. But this would be a great vehicle for him.
That is probably true. My
Yeah, 'cause-
biggest issue with the rolly top cars is the trunk opening gets way smaller, and I need the full hatch when I buy a vehicle.
He is currently driving a Mazda MX-5, not MX-5, CX-5.
Okay.
And the CX-5 somehow, no, CX-3. Yeah, he's the CX-3.
Wow, what
And
a
the
non-committal vehicle.
I know, it's awful. It's based off the Mazda Demio platform and has less usable interior space than my mom's Mazda 2.
Superb.
Yeah.
But when I say
Incredible.
superb, I mean awful.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's terrible in every way. It's bad.
I'm just very excited because it sounds like we're even going to get heat pumps probably. Scott was
Yep.
looking through the French website, and it's really ambiguous. But it sounds like it is at least offered in some configuration. So we should be able to, in theory, get one with a heat pump. And I forgot
Yeah,
the French word for it, but it was hilarious. It's like
Bomba
bomba
de
chauffage or something.
chauffeur.
Chauffeur.
Yeah, bomba de chauffeur.
Yeah. So good.
How did I know that?
know.
Like from like the 3 words of French that I know.
Because you're probably looking at heat pumps. I don't know.
I guess, yeah.
But I'm so happy because I loved my first gen 500e.
Yeah. No, that was a great car, and I like my current 500. I just hate that it's a gas engine because I really fucking hate that for a daily driver right now.
Yep.
It's like it's very cool when I get on the highway, and that is it.
I do hope that
Like that's the only time it's good.
for the U.S. market that we get a better battery density option for the bigger one. Because right now the the WLTP range on the big one is 199 miles in Europe, which is 150-ish here.
Yeah, I mean that would be fine. That's still more than the last one.
Oh, way more.
Yeah, because the last one was 50, right? Because you can go
EPA
100 miles.
range.
You can go 100 miles on it.
Yeah, realistically it was 65-mile range, the
Yeah.
old one. So this is going to be double that, which is huge. Especially heat pump's going to be really big. It'll have CCS fast charging up
Yes.
to like 85 kilowatts or something
Awesome.
like that. So, but it's so pretty. It's so cute. I love it.
Yeah, I have even my like staunchest of like gasser friends can't hate this.
Oh God, no.
And so a lot of my friends that are into like collecting weird old Geos and stuff, they're all like, wow, I actually will be able to afford a reasonable car when
Yeah.
this comes to America. I'm like, yeah, you're right. And my Fiat will be pretty much paid off because I took a very, very, very small monthly car payment, as I always do.
I was also thinking about this because I'm like, I wouldn't put my name on right now, but in 2023 my car will be paid off. So
Yeah, I'm going to trade my Fiat for one of these. So
I don't think I can get rid of the Model S unless this has a lot more going for it. But I'm really tempted to get one of these too.
this is the thing. By the time this comes out, your Model S will be really long in the tooth.
Yeah, but it will also still have a better highway range. It'll still have free charging. It will still also be able to get up my unplowed street, which
Yeah, but
maybe this will, maybe this won't.
I think this will. But the thing is with Tesla is these are like, what are those W120, W203? What was the generation? Like the tiny taillight Mercedes from like the late 90s?
Tiny taillight.
The one where they had the little round taillights? Like, you know, relative to like the W201s.
Well, if it was a super melty C-Class, that was
Yeah.
a 203.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, the 203s. Yeah, because like right now, whenever I think of a Tesla, it's like a 203. Like 203s are great when they were new. And
They've all rusted back into the ground like Lancias.
Yes, and they've aged very, very poorly in every way.
You just don't see them anymore because they all rusted back into the ground like Lancias.
Yes, and then they also had gasket problems, and they had air suspension problems, and then they had electronic problems, and then the doors wouldn't stay on. You know,
They are built like E36s,
yeah. So
which is
I
not
feel
a compliment.
like I feel like Teslas, just from like how I've seen them operate on a daily basis, are going to age like 203s.
The tech is going to be a huge problem if nobody can root it for an end user.
Yeah, and the thing is
The car itself
the
seems
car is
fine.
pretty much all tech though.
No, it's just an MCU. The rest of it's standard module stuff.
Well, I mean, like, there's the doors pop out, like the door handles pop out and
Yeah,
stuff.
those have all been
I'm
sorted.
thinking like normal people, not necessarily you, but like
Right.
You're-
Aftermarkets have solved that, luckily.
That's good that
they were very problematic.
they were terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that Teslas are going to age poorly. I think that's going to be very reflected in their value moving forward. Because the reason people like a Model S is because a Model S is like the good electric car. Mm-hmm. But by 2024, there are going to be so many other good electric cars.
But there won't be that many that you can use for free on a charge network.
That's true. But I just think that I don't think Tesla's like I think that they're not going to hold their value.
I think you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm fully expecting my
That's
car
what
to
I'm
be
saying.
worth
Yeah.
nothing, which is fine. All the more reason to keep it as a winter beater.
I guess, yeah.
But it doesn't change the fact that I desperately want and probably will get a 500e as well.
Yes, 500Es are the way to go. This is the correct car. I mean, like, I need a car that's as small as possible, as electric as possible,
Yes.
that can do a burnout. This can.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all
Correct.
the things I want. That heats up immediately.
Yes.
I want to go out for lunch.
Yes.
Because this is a very cursed problem that I have. Everywhere I go in for lunch is less than 5 minutes away from my house.
Okay.
They're outside of walking distance. I don't want to take the light rail because I don't want to turn it into a 20-minute excursion of like just commuting. So it is literally I need to drive a car to get to any lunch spot in a reasonable time frame so I can maximize my lunch time for
Without
eating.
spending 80 times what it should cost with something like DoorDash.
Exactly. Which, like, yeah, that's just not even an option.
Tell me you're rich without telling me
Jesus
you're
Christ.
rich.
Even with like Grubhub, like premium or whatever it is, it's
Yeah.
still insane. Like I only do that when weather's like this, and I don't want to leave at night. Like that's when I use Grubhub.
I gotcha.
But having a tiny car like this is like the peak use of an electric car.
Oh, yeah.
So,
no,
I mean,
it is a city car.
it is exactly what I need, and I really hope that this gets Honda to get their ass in gear and
Bring the...
Urban E here. But I'm sure
that'd be
Honda
nice.
will wait until the Urban E is the size of an Acura Legend to bring it here, and we will be receiving the Urban E in like 2045.
It's going to be the Urban Tegra.
Yeah, and it'll be 2045, and nobody's gonna want it because it's not what we asked for originally.
Oh, my God.
But yes, this car's good though.
Oh, I just realized that our topics are out of order, but that's no problem.
Yes. Why don't you do yours next?
Sounds good. I also have a Fiat topic, and this was put in like 2 weeks prior to this announcement, but that's totally fine.
Oh, I actually meant to delete my last topic, so don't worry.
Oh, fine. Well, fine then.
The one that I replaced with the Fiat 500e, so we don't have to worry about that. So let's talk about your thing.
I just have to make sure I don't get the links wrong when we move forward. But Fiat got rid of the twin air powertrain, which is a little bit sad because it's just a happy little 2-cylinder and the pistons move
it's
up and down
plucky,
at the
yeah.
same time. It's awesome. But they have a new base model engine solution, which is kind of interesting because it's a lot like the first-gen Insight IMA system,
Yeah,
where you have a
Whoa.
pancake motor and you still get a manual transmission.
that's cool.
I know.
That's
But
actually great.
another thing that this actually won't be coming to the U.S.
Of course not. No.
And it's debuting on the new Fiat Panda, which also won't come to the U.S.
Yep.
But, I mean...
Because
credit-
God forbid you compete with a Mazda 3.
Oh my goodness, I know, especially the interior volume of a Panda
Oh, right.
is massive. I mean, like, you're talking first-gen
Why would,
XB.
why would you ever want to eat Mazda's lunch? Because Chrysler has so many options that compete
They're
directly.
probably just concerned. They don't want to, take somebody's lunch away. That'd be so rude.
It would be.
Yeah.
Terrible. If
It'd
they
be
had
just
sales that
awful.
weren't Jeep.
But Tucker is actually the one that found this, and I don't remember why he was looking for European Fiat stuff. Maybe it was like the Mirage.
Maybe he's
sort
looking
of
for
shit.
like a new suit. Because he
This
kinda-
looks right.
Yeah, he would like wear this as a suit. The car's so small. Like this is a car where I should probably be an extra large, but I like tighter fitting things, so I wear a large.
Yeah.
And
same
so
with
like
medium.
yeah, and so I am the same way with my cars. I should probably take a larger vehicle. Like I'm objectively comfortable in Jana's Lexus that she got.
Yeah.
But I still like driving my Fiats in tiny vehicles. And so maybe Tucker was just taking a note out of my book, and he was like, I'd like a new tuxedo.
I need a steel tuxedo. What have
Yeah.
you got for me?
Here we go.
Well, we'll write this away, sir. But that's not a long topic.
So-
I didn't even bother to get a link.
That's very cool that they did that.
Well, I mean, if it's like the multi-air technology, it's likely we'll see that trickle down through Stellantis into stuff that we actually do get here.
Exactly,
Just
that's
not
what
in
I'm thinking.
product that we care about.
Well, actually, doesn't Stellantis own Peugeot? Maybe they'll end up getting it as like a Peugeot product
They
at some
do,
point.
yeah.
So they'll probably make an electric Peugeot and bring it here.
Well, they certainly won't shove it in a Nissan.
Well, because they don't own Nissan, so
Oh, that's right. They did split off.
yeah.
Forgot
Because
about that. That's Renault.
Peugeot and Citroën are owned by Stellantis.
Yeah.
Renault's its own thing. With Renault just collects garbage. Like they've got an amazing collection of trash in their portfolio. But like Stellantis is actually a good company, and Chrysler. So I think that you might, because I know that Peugeot's doing a lot of concepts with EV powertrains, so they don't have anything that's like feasible
Right,
right
they
now.
don't have a platform or anything
Yeah, they don't
like
have a
that yet.
platform right now. Although I would say that a Citroen Cactus would sell like
Oh
hotcakes
my
here.
goodness, just the name alone.
Yeah, no, that would absolutely sell like hotcakes here.
Every time somebody spots a cactus in Michigan, I'm like, please, just do it. I'm not going
Yeah.
to buy one, but do it.
I'll buy it.
Hell,
I
I'm
would-
getting a 500E.
I would buy a cactus and then trade it for 500E. Totally.
I'm ready to make these
Ryan
bad
was
financial
looking at
decisions.
a city in Maine where their driveways are in Canada, and he goes, "I want to own this property."
It'd be awesome. I could park my Aventime down by the street.
Exactly. Like I could. I'm like, wow, I could just register my car at my house. I would have to live in Maine, which would suck.
Oh,
But
But
apparently, that specific city has caused international strife.
there's a
multiple
man.
times.
There's a man who's arrested and is no longer allowed to go to the gas station because it's in the United States and his passport got revoked. It's very cursed.
What an absurd thing.
I know, it's very cursed.
That's like ultimate energy put into a property.
I know, it's really bad.
It
It's
eventually
super
closed down
cursed.
because people were too afraid to go there.
However,
sake.
4 people still live there because it's a really nice area. So,
This is a complete tangent, kind of, but have you seen the regular car reviews Nissan Altima?
no.
Oh my god, it is the best thing ever. He's just leaning into Ultima Energy the entire time and just belittling this guy for buying this car.
That's
amazing.
You
I
have
love
to
that.
watch
I'll
it.
have to watch it.
Everyone go watch regular car reviews Nissan Altima because I'm not even going to explain it. It is so worth watching. It's my favorite RCR ever.
So, you've heard of the term Mandela effect, right?
I have.
So, that's like when it's like Pikachu's tail being black. Or like having the little black tip. He doesn't have a black tip on his tail.
But they've also gone through artist redesigns multiple times.
But he's not historically had a black tail. Or a black mark on his tail. I know, that's an actual Mandela effect. I got really messed up when I found that out. But
Or
anyway.
the Fruit of the Loom cornucopia.
Exactly, the Fruit of the Loom cornucopia is another great example of a Mandela effect.
The
And-
Bernstein Bears.
I was wondering, what are your Mandela effects with cars? 'Cause I know I have a few like weird ones. Like I thought, up until I bought my EF, I thought that VTEC started on SIs, like when I was younger,
Yeah.
and that's because every generation except for the EF and the EA had VTEC.
That's a really good question. I did
'cause
not pre-read the notes, so I'm
have
thinking
to,
right now.
You have to like actually kind of think about that.
Yeah, like I was so sure, but nope.
Nope.
Wrong.
Yeah, no, there's a bunch of like weird ones.
That's wow. It's probably back to like the twin cam like S36, S38 engines in the M5s and the M6s. The first iterations of those in production had a completely different engine code. And I would have swore up and down that they're
Weird.
S30. Yeah, they're like M112 and M110. They're not S36s and S38s.
That's very strange.
Yeah, but they are the same engine because they came from the M1, which was the M111 or whatever, and
So
then
they
it
just
moved.
Did it for funsies?
I don't know why they changed it, but like that's one of those things where I would have like I will die on this hill. Like that's an S38, because like that's the displacement, that's what it's out of. But like nope, the early ones just weren't. And like it's just a semantics thing, but it is still wrong.
It's
to
very
call-
strange.
I know, but there's things like that where it's just like what the
Pretty much every fact I know about Saab, I assume is a Mandela effect.
Yeah.
Like the whole company is like made by Mandela effects.
Like yesterday, you're like, this car's either very broken or it's lowered. I don't know.
well.
Yeah,
Yep.
like it turned out to be lowered. But like Saab just has so much like weird crap on their cars where I'm just like, yeah, like this is definitely a Mandela effect, and like there's like a kernel of truth within them.
Yeah.
Like with Saab, because just Saab did so much weird shit.
Well, and they're kind of like they Subaru'd the game too, where like they did do rolling
They literally-
changes.
Yeah.
Subaru.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
They
well,
literally did.
there
do
was
one,
that
yeah.
too.
That was the actual.
The
thing.
linear and the arrow, but yeah, it's like, no, you're right, just not right now. Like that was 6 months ago. Okay, now it's different.
Like I thought for sure that the Saab 900s had the gearbox integrated with the engine, and now I'm not so sure.
They definitely
Because I know
did.
the 99s did.
Yeah, the 9. Yes. Yep.
Because
Yeah.
I thought that they killed that with GM taking over ownership, but I think I'm wrong about that.
I think everything that has that weird like vacuum cleaner shape from like the late 60s all the way up until the early 90s does still have that unified transmission
strange.
oil sump, but like maybe they pulled a Mira where the first model year had a unified sump and then they split the sump like the year after. Because like the Mira, they had so many engine failures and people grinding
Oh, yeah,
gears.
yeah.
So like maybe, I mean, it's definitely that's that layout where the transmission is literally bolted under the bottom of the engine, but I don't know if they shared an oil pan the whole time.
What a bad idea.
It's a
It's a
really
terribly
like
bad
an
idea.
engineering thing. Like this is a great idea.
Until you just consider that people are going to use it. Like,
Oh, I didn't even see you. Tucker responded. He found the Panda information when he started car shopping a few weeks ago. But you were looking at Mirages. How did you get all the way to a Fiat Panda?
that makes
Yeah,
sense. That
Google
tracks.
deep
I,
dives,
yeah.
you know.
Yes. Yeah.
You just-
Tangents. You click.
yeah.
You click, and then next thing you know,
I do
you're
it all the
homeless
time.
and unemployed.
Yeah, it's very strange.
But
how
anyway,
that
sorry.
works.
Back to Mandela effects. Yeah, that's really the only one that like really came to mind quickly. I'm trying to think of like the last time I had to put my tail between my legs on a forum, because that would definitely be that. Or it's one of those things where it was just
They do it with Volvos all the time about really weird, obscure things where I convince myself that they have something that they do not have. Or that they look a certain way. And then I go, what car is that? And Ryan goes, you love that car. And I go, I forgot it looked like that.
Yeah, Volvo, just Swedish cars. And like Scandinavian vehicles basically are just Mandela effects. Like every single
Yeah. Like,
every
what's that?
single car made in Scandinavia is just a fever dream.
That's an XC70. I'm like, no, that's actually a V70 XC, because the first year and a half of that body style in production, they labeled it that way.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, what the
The XC70, the one you know I'm talking about
Yeah.
from 06, the first 2 years were V70 XCs.
Now
they
I
were
want
not
that.
XC70s.
I want that as bad as they are because I want that weird thing just so I can like just mind fuck people like
I
that.
know. It's
That's
like
incredible.
The Ford Freestyle, when it moved to the Taurus X, the exact same vehicle. It's another one of those things where like we could do a whole segment
Oh,
on this
man.
probably where like
Yes, that
where
was-
cars
that was
changed
one.
badges
The-
and the car didn't change.
The Ford 500 Ford Taurus.
Yes. Yep.
That's another one. Yeah, where the cars that just is just all. This has turned in from like just Mandela effects to like just how to mess with people with a car.
Oh yeah. Like the badge isn't wrong.
Another really good Mandela effect is Honda twin cam engines and what the hell they came in.
Oh my god.
Because so many people just get that
Well,
totally wrong.
Because they assume
all the
16
time.
valve is twin cam,
Yeah.
and it's not.
But also, like, could you get a twin cam in a Del Sol in America?
I want to say yes, because
You
those
could.
those are
But
B
a
series,
lot of
right?
people are just like, will go to the death that there was not a twin cam Del Sol.
I know a
'Cause it was
lot of
called
them
the
are D
SI
series,
It was
weren't
called
they?
the SI VTEC.
Okay.
They did not say dual red cam on them. But even though people were like, yeah, is the Del Sol DOHC? I'm like, nope, it was the Del Sol VTEC or SI VTEC. And they're like, but the normal SI had VTEC. I'm like, yep.
And it also had 16 valves.
Also, the base model had VTEC because the D15 came with eVTEC, so they all had VTEC.
But if it has a VTEC label on it,
Then it's a
B series.
B series, yeah, totally weird, yeah.
That is, I hate that, but also
First generation Integras
Oh.
were 4x114.
coming back to a topic that you're actually going to do, I think a little bit later, but we were at the last Keg and Case show.
Oh, sorry, not first generation Integras. First year Integra Type Rs, 1995 only.
Okay.
Had 4x114 leg patterns. Everything else after that was 5x114.
I didn't know
But the
ITRs
normal
ever had
Integra, had 4x100.
Oh, so it's like the WRX versus STI thing,
There
where you
was one
can't
year-
put the wheels
one
on
year.
it.
There was
Oh
one
my
year.
god, it's just like the WRX then. 04.
Yeah.
The DB7, I would have sworn up and down those were all V12s.
Yes.
Up until that
Yeah.
car show. Nope.
And I found
A
out
good
that-
number of them, and it's a fascinating engine
Yeah,
too, but I
a
won't
very
talk too
fascinating
much.
engine makes tons of power. But yeah, very, very strange. Yeah, if you guys think of any Mandela effects, let us know on our Patreon. We will revisit that if we get enough responses.
Another huge, super cool perk to the Patreon page, if you have a Discord account, which you probably do, it'll automatically add you
Yes.
to our Discord server, which is
great.
full of
Yeah.
autism.
Well, it's fantastic, and we also have the LAN parties that we do and stuff like that. So.
Yep, if you're local, you
I have it
automatically get
muted.
Yeah, Jana has it muted.
That's
I
fine.
don't. I listen to it.
General and Dogecoin I don't have muted. The rest of them I do. I check them, though.
The Dogecoin one is very sad these days.
Dogecoin to the moon is not very active anymore.
They're
If you guys didn't know, cryptocurrency is not worth currently very much money.
Suddenly, everything's very quiet there.
Every once in a while that I'm bored or it like pops back up on my computer, then I go through it. But
That's right. You are one of the honorary members that I've added without Patreon. So
Yes.
yes.
Oh, there's a ham.
That's a ham's opening.
So crispy. All right. Where are we? All
We
right.
are on jaywalking.
Jaywalking.
Oh yeah.
So this is, I don't even know why I necessarily picked this topic, but it was just kind of fascinating to me because this is one of those things where we all know jaywalking outside of a crosswalk is illegal, but literally everyone does it. And it's like going 10 over. Like, yeah, it's illegal, but everyone does it, so it's kind of
I
legal.
will tell you why, but I'll let Jana do her thing. She's
Here's
very
the
excited
thing.
about
The
something.
reason why it being legalized in California is so important is because people literally get ticketed regularly for jaywalking.
I believe it.
California, specifically in LA, because in Minneapolis, because of snow, you cross wherever you want to.
Buffalo's a crazy place, yeah.
Yeah, Buffalo, Minneapolis is wild. It's a free for all. So we're always just not walking where the crosswalk is because that's where
We
the
don't know
snow
where it
plows
is, yeah.
gather the snow. And so whenever we're in LA, I get tugged on the back of my shirt a whole lot because they're like, "You gotta wait for the crosswalk," and I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "No."
But
you-"
I have space.
I was like, "But there's no traffic right now. We can just go." And they're like, "No, no, no,
It
no."
is a law that exists solely for the police to harass people.
Yeah.
Oh, just like the Hyundai Veloster N or Elantra N exhaust
Yeah,
thing?
exactly like that.
Great. Thank you, California, for...
Well, it's not even like it's more like they have a bunch of weird laws like that because, in New York they used to have the no warrant for the stop and frisk law where you can just police can stop you and frisk you.
That's weird.
Yeah, really, really shitty
That's
laws.
especially strange for a state that doesn't have license reciprocity.
Yeah, so exactly. That's actually where a lot of they stopped doing that because it was a whole civil rights problem. Because guess who was getting harassed?
Was it Jada's?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in California, they have a bunch of weird small laws, so the police can harass you, but they're not as just overtly LA and bad as stop and frisk, but they're effectively the same thing.
Sure.
So
It's just
it's one of those things where it's they'll say so the jaywalking law where it gets weird is if you how we have the crosswalk.
Yeah.
You know where the crosswalk has a little area that dips down, the little ramp that goes into the road?
The curb cut?
Yeah. If you don't enter the crosswalk from the curb cut, the police can technically harass you about it.
Oh my god.
That's where this comes in. And you can see how that can be a problem when you have you have a police department that's known for being racist, and then you don't use a curb cut and they harass you. Yeah.
Crossing mid-block is legal in Minnesota, but you need to yield to vehicles if
That's
you do.
true, yes.
At signals, you do need to obey. Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scott.
But
Thanks.
yeah, that's actually a lot of weird rules exist because of that. That's similar with the brake light rules and things like that.
But I mean, I feel like how cities are set up right now,
Oh,
mean,
it's
there
it's
are dumb
very,
people.
It's very cursed.
and
Yeah.
dumb people ruin it for everyone, but I'm glad to hear this because I mean, at least it sets a precedent for if
Well, 'cause
California is
it's
going
one
to
of
do
those
it.
rules that helps make houselessness illegal.
Right.
It's one
Yeah.
of those laws that
Don't tell Modi about that.
yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
So it's just one of those. So I'm glad to see these laws slowly disappearing because it's really helpful for people that you don't even think about that it affects
Yeah.
negatively.
Well, also, if you've ever seen what Los Angeles County looks like,
Oh my
if
God.
you've ever driven through the city of
You
Commerce,
have to walk blocks between intersections.
Yeah.
the city of Commerce, each block is a quarter mile long.
Yep. Gross.
Yeah, they're bad. So you have to
It's
walk.
not a walkable city.
So yeah, if you
Walkability score is low.
if you have to walk, if you're mid-block, and you have to cross the street, legally you have to walk a half of a mile.
Very good. Thank you, California. I appreciate you making
Very
me get my steps
accessible.
in. Yeah, well, heaven forbid you're in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, so
But that's why this law is so
I'm
exciting.
very happy to hear that.
Me too. Again, just because this doesn't personally
Oh.
affect me, but like,
I found some of my automotive Mandela effects. You put your topic in between my Mandela effect examples.
so
I'm gonna go back to that real quick.
I put my topics in first.
Nope. This one you put in after mine.
Fine.
But
Doesn't matter.
Here's
Where are we?
2 Mandela effects directly below your jaywalking
Oh,
topic.
yeah.
Here's 2 that really bothered me for a long time.
thought
The
this was
DB7s had a transaxle. Thought that for sure.
You thought that they did?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they do not.
Well, they're based on an XJS, so I would have thought that they did not, but I don't know.
Yeah, very strange. Well, because all the other ones do.
Do they?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean?
Like all the other DB cars have come out in the last like 15, 20 years.
Like DB9s or transaxle?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Or it could be the other way around. Or I thought they were and they weren't. See, this is why it's confusing. Whoa. Kia Sorentos, without looking at that, what is the engine layout on a Kia Sorento and how is the chassis set up?
Well, I looked at it, unfortunately.
But if you didn't look at it, how would you assume that their first generation Kia Sorento?
So there's
Tell me-
a really destroyed one that I occasionally followed to work 6 months ago, and I know it has a live axle with a pumpkin in the back. So
Yep.
I know that it is a longitudinal
Yep.
rear-wheel drive vehicle.
Is it body on frame or is it monocoque?
I would guess monocoque?
Body on frame.
Really? The first gen Sorrento is body on frame.
It's an actual off-road vehicle, yeah.
Weird.
Yeah,
Weird.
that's a Mandela effect. I thought I would defend to the death that is a transverse V6 automatic front-wheel drive base that's
Yeah.
stuffed to...
Again, had I not followed one regularly
Yeah.
that was like so bad I was like transfixed on it, I would have probably said
Yeah.
that too, because it's a CUV. It looks like an Escape.
Yeah, it looks like that. But no, it is very close to a Montero. And that makes a lot of sense when you think about it now.
I guess.
Because it's basically a rebodied Montero.
That is... I wouldn't be surprised if that had a little bit of a off-road following.
Yeah, they do. Like a very little one. Because like people don't know.
Do they have low range?
No. But
Okay.
like how I said that they're like pretty much a Montero.
Yep.
You can put a low range.
This transfer
No.
case bolts in.
Yes, they do, actually. They do have a dual range transfer case. Yeah. I remember this.
Sheesh.
So did first generation Sportages.
So did the first generation Mercedes ML.
Well, I knew that made sense. But,
Does it though?
but
It's such a
yeah,
weird
the
thing.
Sportage, if you think about that.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Like
but
the
that probably had a lever.
Oh, yeah. It was a
Like
floor.
the ML had a small button on the dash that just said low. And it was an electronic button that would move the transfer case.
Oh, I'm talking like this is you have you have basically a screwdriver. It's like stuck into
that's how I normally
exactly.
picture it. Yeah.
It vibrates when you accelerate. Like it is a direct link to the transfer case.
It sounds as bad as it actually is currently happening to be.
Yeah, like you look at it, like it vibrates with the transfer case and everything. Like it's just like an '80s Ranger. Very cool. So
Or a Bronco 2.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, that was my Mandela effect. I totally forgot existed.
Yeah. Yeah, these notes got a little wrecked. Whoops. All right.
Yeah, you definitely put it in your notes after mine.
Fine. I must have been thinking of 268 because one of them was like empty when I came in.
Nope. 268 I had filled up as well.
No.
Yeah, I put in a bunch of mine in 268. I put all mine in when I was in Vegas and the week after.
I mean, I did these before you.
Oh, you know
were in
what?
Vegas?
You know what? I bet I did it on my phone. I wonder if it didn't update when I had done it.
I don't know. It doesn't matter at
Because
all.
sometimes when I do it on my phone,
Yeah.
it won't update until I open it back up on my phone.
Oh, it like doesn't sync or whatever.
That's a cursed problem.
Ooh.
Just
Props
'cause
to you for doing this on your phone. Oh my god, I could not handle.
I do
editing
a lot of
Google
things on
Doc.
my phone.
Well, I
Yeah.
know, but like Google Docs is not great on a phone.
I have a very high tolerance for garbage.
Clearly.
So, all right, well, here, let's just go with
close
your
that one
next comment, your next thing here, since I went back to
gosh.
my last one. So we can talk about
Since we
Mirages.
basically don't have an internet.
Well, let's go to Mirages and talk about Mirages.
Oh god, where are we?
We're talking about
Okay.
Mirage
Okay.
RVs.
Oh no, this didn't load. Okay, well, I'm just going to tell you guys what it was. So,
I actually know all about this.
good, I'm glad you do.
I've had this sent to me independently at least 15 times.
Well, it's fantastic. It's like everyone always builds these giant, like, RV, bread van-based overlanding vehicles, and this one dude just took a bog standard late model Mirage and put, like,
a bed in it,
and it's got a sink with running water. It's got a cookery.
It's got a kitchenette
And
and
this is
a
just
little
a-
shelf. Yeah, it's a one-seater little camper. It's great. It's perfect.
There's pictures of it just out in the wilderness with the hatch open, and it's just got the little sink and the cooker in the back. I'm like, it's perfect. It's great. And you know, with those tiny little wheels and tires, the thing can go anywhere.
Also, what's also amazing about it is having an RV sucks because it takes up all the space in your life.
Not to mention the insurance and all the maintenance and all that other bull crap.
This is a car that is literally the size of a refrigerator box tipped on its side. And you can sleep in it.
And it also gets to triple the fuel economy to get where you're going, which is
Yeah,
great.
no, this is great. If there's a way I would like to experience Moab, I think it'd be with a Mirage.
Oh my god, yeah.
Because also, you'd be just an absolute legend for doing it, too. Like, you look even cooler. Because, like, yeah, this dude made this Mirage camper, and now he's all over the internet because he just has a very cool tiny camper.
We should lift a Mirage, put the world's most expensive LSD in it, so it has sort of a locker in the front, and then put one of those Toyota Highlander hybrid electric rear ends in the back.
No.
With some e-assist.
In Europe, or in Scandinavia, they make the Mirage R4.
Oh, so
which
just
is
the transfer
rally
case.
car. Yeah, you just take
perfect.
the rally car drivetrain.
Well, then let's just do that and lift it.
And then, well, they're already lifted
And
because
then-
you have to put an all-wheel drive drivetrain in
Let's
it.
lift it more, and then put bigger tires on it, and let's go humiliate Yeeps at
Yeah, it'd be
Moab.
great. I love that. I love that idea.
Oh, man.
I love whenever, like, Yeeps get humiliated doing anything.
Yes.
Because, like, Moab's kind of accessible for, like, people that have Jimneys in Mexico. And there's people that just drive Jimneys up here.
Oh,
Stock.
what's done to it? Like, it's stock.
It's not. It's a lease. I'm leasing it.
Didn't
and
even scratch the doors because it's so narrow.
Yeah, and they just drive it through the trails in Moab. They're designed for a Jeep Gladiators.
Great. Now I want a Jimny again. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, no problem. Also, the Alfa Romeo Mito was sold in Mexico, and I found that out, and I hate that because that's like
The Me Too is super cool.
I want. It's Mito actually.
I
'cause
don't think
it's
that's
Milan,
correct.
It stands for Milan.
Milan and Torino.
Torino.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mito.
We can disagree
Mito?
on that.
What we call them Mito.
Let's do Mito.
Mito.
Alfa Romeo Mito.
Yeah.
I'll remember that because it sounds like Minnow.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the Alfa Romeo Mito is
God.
available in Mexico as well. So I don't fully understand why I don't have an investment property in Mexico.
And same with me in Canada.
Like, it would make sense.
I don't know the process to get a dual citizenship in Canada.
You don't need a dual citizenship. You have citizenship here. You just own a property there.
But I can't register a car there if I just own property, right?
You can.
Really?
Yeah, because it's registered to your property.
I don't.
Think of all the people.
I don't know if that's
You don't
how
need to
that
have
works.
citizenship.
I thought you would need to buy a vehicle.
No, because I know Ice isn't a citizen, and she owns a car.
Oh.
Huh.
Yeah,
Well-
you don't need to be a citizen to register a car. You just need to have an address there.
What? But. Oh.
But what?
Now I want my oven time.
Okay.
But I don't want to spend a property's worth of money to get it. So I think I'll wait a few more years.
Let's rent an apartment in like Saskatchewan or something.
Oh, yeah.
And then put it on Airbnb.
It's just like been snow plowed around for like 5 years sitting in this apartment parking lot. I'm like, it'll be fine, eh?
No, as long as it's registered to Canada. I don't see why you.
Oh, man.
Because you drove your car from Canada down here.
Well, I know. Yeah, it's true.
There's so many sketchy things
I
I see on a
know.
regular basis here. I see so many cars from Mexico regularly being sold here. Like, there's a Seat Cupra.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the GT, like the Volkswagen R, like Golf R.
Yeah.
Like, the equivalent of that for, like, a Seat. I saw one of those being sold in Nevada.
It's just not even legal. How would they do that?
Because it's sold in Mexico. It had Mexican plates.
Oh,
and
right,
they're-
but you would
they're
have-
selling it on Facebook Marketplace in the United States.
But you would have to sell it to another Mexican resident, wouldn't you? Because you can't title the thing. I guess you just wouldn't title it.
I guess if somebody gives you a bag of money and they lose your phone number, it's their problem. It's not your problem.
I only accept bags of cash.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
it.
much. Yeah, if you're selling them, Seat Leon Cupra R, like, then yeah, you probably are, because that's not at all legal in the United States. Even though it is. You know what? I bet, actually, there is a way to, because a lot of people will take cars that are made for the Canadian market that are identical to American cars, except they'll have like an odometer, it's in kilometers.
Oh, substantially similar or whatever?
Yeah, 'cause
don't you need a manufacturer letter?
Kind of. Unless it says this vehicle meets U.S. EPA regulations. And I bet a Seat Leon Cupra, since it's mechanically a Golf R, does.
Probably. I mean, it wouldn't have the sticker on it, but you could buy one from Volkswagen.
No, I bet it might. Because like those cars are like literally the window glass is the same. Like there's so many similarities. Like the seats are the same. They just say they have a different upholstery on them, and they say Seat instead of Volkswagen.
Well, that's before they split off the Cooper brand into electrification, too.
Yeah. So I think that might be something that you do, where you can just like get it. Because I've sold a few cars at work where like one guy had a Camaro that had a 300 kilometer per hour speedometer, and he like, I'm like, this is awesome. This is a 300 kilometer per hour speedometer, and being a fool that he was, swapped that out for an American one.
Oh, no. But it probably has the electronics to, like...
Well, the problem was, it's the fact that it didn't say 300. Like, the other one said the number 300 on it, which is hilarious to see.
Yeah.
But also, the odometer information had to go TMU because he's...
Oh...
Sorry, dude. I told you not to, and he did, and now here we are.
He is a Camaro owner, so...
It was a dealer that was concerned about legality issues. I'm like, this is legal. This is fine. People do this regularly. It's not 1985 anymore.
And I think a lot of that is easing up quite a bit, especially if you fit, the criteria. But a lot of people just don't know the criteria.
The thing is, as long as it says miles per hour somewhere on there, you're fine. And so what it was is the 300 big number said 300 kilometers an hour, and the speedometer was like rated for that. But then they had the imperial relative speed underneath.
It was printed inside, or was it one of the digital ones where you could just hit the...
No, it's printed inside. Okay. Yeah. No, sorry, it was actually the one where you can flip it.
So it just
there's
read
no reason. Yeah.
Just read like 60 miles an hour.
So you could have potentially a speedometer that goes to 300 miles an hour on a car, which is hilarious. Like, why would you not want that? That'd be great.
It's the exact opposite of those, like...
I would buy a Camaro if I could do that. If a Camaro speedometer went to 300 miles an hour, I would buy a Camaro.
These Chevy Express vans in like 2003, they all shipped with 100 mile per hour speedometers, and they had the digital changer. Yeah. So in Canada... 100 kph is the maximum that you can record.
You can go up to highway speed.
Almost. It's like 58 miles an hour. Yeah. So only go 55s. I prefer the 300 where you're using the bottom 10% of the speedo for everything.
That's so funny, yeah. It's just like, it's way too high. So I want to talk about something completely different now. I want to talk about Rwandan electric motorcycle taxis.
I was able to reload this without the stream caching.
Smashing. So what the Rwandan electric motorcycle taxi story?
I heard they have a hotel there.
Yes. So in Rwanda, they are trying to go green, and also this story is brought to you by Deutsche Welle, which is the German PBS, and it is objectively my favorite news source. They have this thing called Rev, which is like German Top Gear. Nice. And it's like the news from Top Gear, and it's just totally straight up normal automotive news. I love it. Because it's absolutely fascinating, like what they talk about. So this episode was about these motorcycles, and then female classic car ownership in Sudan.
That is a lot of qualifiers. Okay.
Yeah, and they're following this lady around who's like a Sudanese pharmacist, and she's got like a '63 Beetle that she drives every day. It's her only car.
All right.
And then they did a thing about like EV swapped like Rolls Royces. And then like
now you don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah, and then like last week they had a thing about Cuban car ownership and their taxi cabs and stuff.
Still really want to go to Cuba. I
want to go to Cuba really bad. But anyway, so in Kigali they have a huge pollution problem. Kigali's in Rwanda. And the way they got around it was they have basically a program where motorcycle taxis can convert their motorcycles to be electric. And they've done this in the most brilliant way possible. Because in Rwanda, you have a lack of infrastructure in a lot of places. So, yeah, if you're within the city of Kigali, you're fine. But, like, let's say you have a fair that needs to go to the suburbs, or maybe like a third ring, like, small town around the city.
Sure.
Well, now suddenly there's a high likelihood you're not going to have electricity there, like at all, much less charging infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
So you go, well, what the hell? What am I going to do here? Well, they've solved another problem by solving the lack of charging infrastructure problem.
Okay.
Because with electric cars, you also now have gas stations that are obsolete, right?
Well, will be.
Will be. So what they did is they have removable batteries. And you go to the gas station and you just swap your battery out for a charged one.
That's kind of cool.
You have the entire infrastructure. Nobody loses a single job doing this. In fact, it actually generates more jobs because now instead of having one giant gasoline tanker, you have a bunch of like basically tuk-tuks that are full of depleted batteries that drive from each gas station to the centralized charging area.
Sure.
And that's how they charge them. And then like throughout the day, they're like,
Interesting.
that's how they get
That's
their
like
batteries.
propane tank exchange.
Just like a propane tank exchange.
Yeah.
Exactly like that. So
That's
this
cool.
solves the problem of pollution, obviously. It solves the problem of electricity availability issues.
Yeah.
And it solves the problem of retaining jobs in the petrol infrastructure. And charge time. Your charge time is now exactly the same amount of time that your fuel pump costs.
That was the biggest thing when the Model S was announced. They're like, oh yeah, these cars are 5-minute battery pack swap able.
Yeah.
Like they literally had a demo station in California where you drive the car in, it would log your battery pack's health, put it somewhere else for charging, and then put a different pack in, you drive away. But obviously that's a lot tougher than standardizing a single battery pack style for motorcycles, where this could be done with one person with relatively low
Basically,
skill.
what they do is they take the gas engine out.
Yeah.
They put an electric motor that's like 30 horsepower electric motor, whatever, like 20, something like that. No, that's too much power.
I was gonna say it's probably between 10 and 20, but
10, 20 horsepower. And then they have basically just a marine-sized giant battery, like,
Yeah.
and it's literally a plastic-cased battery full of
Nice.
18650s.
nice. And hopefully a BMS somewhere in there, but
Yeah, but like, well, I mean, the actual battery pack that you swap out, yeah, it's just like, so all you have to do is you turn it off, and then you have a plastic handle that unplugs the battery. You slide the battery out, pop in the new one, push that plastic handle down, you're good, you drive off.
Yep.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
well, how do they keep track of do they keep track of who's turning in what battery for payment, or
No.
is it just free?
No, you just you swap it out. You have your battery, and then your battery gets swapped out for the other battery.
Well, what if you got a battery with 400,000 miles on it and you've been using it at home?
Well, that's the thing is the batteries can get maintained at the charging center. So there's a centralized charging center.
Yeah. Well, I get all that,
Yeah.
but they don't charge you for the use of the.
I imagine
the
there's a
swap.
fee, but it's just a flat fee
Okay.
to do it. So it'd be probably I don't know, whatever the equivalent of $30 would be for us.
It's their Netflix.
Yeah, well, it's like you're charged for getting gas. It's like about the same price to just pop it out. It's all explained in the video, but the video's long and
Yeah.
But,
Our internet speed here is.
it's terrible. I wanted to have this playing in the background because it's actually really interesting how they have
Next-
how it actually looks. It's
Next
really
time
cool.
it should be fixed.
Yeah.
Our point-to-point died, and I have an appointment on Wednesday to get it replaced.
Good. But yeah, the actual charging infrastructure. So what they do is they'll have you can in their main charging building, they're all plugged into the wall and they're all charging.
Yeah.
But they also have a refurbishment center. So it's if a battery the handle cracks or something, or there's corrosion on the terminals, or replace the terminals, they'll pop out the individual batteries
Yeah.
within the larger battery pack. So yeah, it's really cool. So that way you're minimizing the amount of downtime. You are maximizing the amount of jobs. You're maximizing the usage of this.
Well, and pollution too. I mean, the
Exactly.
biggest polluter outside of cargo ships, I think, is small engines.
Yeah.
Because they're really fuel efficient, but there's no catalyst on them essentially.
Yeah,
usually.
no, and these are all two-stroke 80s dirt bikes.
Yeah.
They're not clean at all.
What I want is one of these full kits so I can put it in my Vespa. Ship me one, Rwanda. I want to test it
Yeah,
out.
no, this is great. I absolutely love this. This is one of the coolest stories I'd ever heard on television. So there you go. Rwandan electric taxi motorcycles.
I do kind of hope this stuff proliferates more, and I guarantee it will. Because, I mean,
Yeah.
grids everywhere. I mean, until they ratify the electric code for V to L and V to G to stabilize all that kind of stuff, this is a concern. Because
Yeah.
you have more and more vehicles charging, especially in rural areas, where the lines aren't really able to handle a bunch of it charging all at once, where you could start doing pack swaps or local energy
Another
storage.
huge problem is all these gas stations, like, that's a lobby. There's literally a lobbyist group for that. Like, this is how you get around the lobby.
Yeah,
is
that's true.
Instead of having a car with a rechargeable battery, you have a replaceable battery.
Yeah.
And you just swap it out. And you have a separate battery that's like for all your car settings, but you have the motor battery.
Right.
You just swap
You
out.
got your CR2032.
Yeah, exactly.
What's really funny is hearing people in Florida talk about electric vehicles.
Oh, no. That's
Yeah.
like talking about EVs at my work. It's painful.
It was fun. They're like, it's a fire hazard. I
No, it's
go,
not.
Teslas
Oh,
are.
yeah,
but
during the flood, the hurricane, all the electric cars caught on fire. Blah, 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 blah.
it was a very interesting conversation to overhear because I really like the people, and then I heard them
I
talk
know.
about.
That's how people are in Florida.
I was
I
just
know.
like,
They open their
oh.
mouth, and then you're like, oh, that's why.
Bless
nobody
their
wants
heart. Yeah.
was
Mouse
like, oh.
Mouse likes electric cars. That's good because Mouse found out that they're very, very fast, and that's all he cares about. So
Yeah.
When I did the NPR segment years ago with my Fiat 500, it's like, well, I bought it because it was the fastest Fiat 500, and then I just sort of got hooked on electrification for other reasons.
yeah, like Mouse is like, oh, dude, I can totally kill myself in
I
this.
still
This is
have to-
great. Like,
I still have to listen to that NPR.
Oh, I have it on my Google Drive. Just remind me at the end, and I'll share it with
Yeah.
you.
but yeah, it's EVs are great. I'm excited for them, and the fact that they actually make noise. I think the Gymkhana, the Ken Block thing with electric car, that is a good way to explain how electric cars actually make noise.
And that
as
was
opposed, 'cause
quieted down,
the
too, I
Dodge,
feel like.
the Dodge thing was such a step back for EV noise. It was so stupid. Like they really like just totally screwed the booch on that.
Well, and like what I really dislike is the people that are super for EVs don't like to admit where there's failure points.
Oh, yeah.
And so I hate having to be devil's advocate and point those failure points out, and they go, "You just hate the Earth, don't
no,
you?" And
I
I
just
go,
live in real life.
I go, "No, believe it or not, I'm probably more into electrifying things than you actually are."
But they definitely have some teething
But
problems.
there's just some things that we need to consider before everyone can go electric.
The problem with EVs is always been since the 90s, actually since the 70s, has been the owners. Because they've always been just the biggest weenies. It's just been like, it's been thousands of Brandon flashes.
I
Like
know.
in perpetuity for like
I
50
know.
years of just nothing but weenies. And it benefits nobody.
I
Like
know.
if you're going to be don't be an elitist about it. Like you're trying to get people to your cause.
Pick something better to be an elitist
Well, no,
about. Yeah.
not only that. Like, just don't be an elitist, because like
no, winter tires. I'm gonna.
do
be
you know how?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
but
but
all
when it
right,
comes
no,
to
no.
trying to-
But this is the thing: is if you ever want somebody to not ever take your side on something, be an elitist about it. Like, why do you think nobody ever listens to black metal? Because black metal is full of the most insufferable elitists. It's if you're into rock music, like if you're into metal at all,
I'm into Mongolian techno throat singing.
yeah. So like, you know how like dubstep bros were? They were
Oh, yeah.
elitists. Yeah, they were always elitists.
Oh.
Yeah, that's how black metal people
But
were.
worse.
Yeah, like black metal people are like worse than that. But yeah, like being an elitist towards something like just totally takes the fun out of it because nobody wants to be around you. Like no, that's why I got into hot rods because I found a group of hot rod people that weren't elitists. Like, because I'm like, this is great because like I kept meeting more and more Japanese car people that were elitists. I'm like, this is stupid. And like European car ownership
Wow,
is
great.
chock fucking full of it.
Sure
Where
is.
God forbid I have an opinion that says, I don't know, I think the new Volkswagen kind of sucks. You say that in a room full of elitists, you have to run for the hills. Whereas like, if you're in a group full of like hot rod people and you're like, hot rods are cool, but like LS swaps kind of suck in them, and they're like, yeah, it's kind of lame. There you go, done.
This
slash thread. Like, you
32
don't have to be
Ford
an
would be
elitist.
better with a flathead in it instead of a small block.
Yeah, exactly. Or they're like, yeah, or like a nailhead or a Oldsmobile rocket. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of options. It's really cool. We all like different things. Cool. Like, I like that. I don't want to be in a room full of elitists. It
Yeah,
sucks.
I
And
can't wait until the electric car scene is more diverse.
And it's happening.
I
but
know it's getting there.
It
But
takes time. Even the regular car scene around here, it kind of had
What I
its.
don't understand is people that just use their electric cars for commuting that buy trucks. That drives me nuts. That's what piss jugs did, and it makes me so mad. I'm like, you live in North Carolina, you don't need a truck.
I mean, that's a truck place, but yeah.
It's not
Nobody
if you
needs
live
a
in the
truck.
city.
Nobody needs a
You
truck.
rent a truck once in a while.
Yeah.
If you need. I'm running through that same thing with my parents right now because the GLS.
It needs work.
Well, it needs work now.
Yeah.
And also they don't need that vehicle, like period. Like right now it's used for the pontoon. But like my car can pull that to and from the launch. Twice a year, it's fine.
I'm sorry, the pontoon that goes in the lake that's in their backyard.
Which is currently underneath us right now, yes. So when it makes its trip from here to there
To
and
Medicine
then back
Lake.
here
So from here to Medicine Lake.
and back. That's
which
why
is
they own.
the easiest drive in the world. And because twice a year they do that,
Yep.
they own a giant truck.
Yep.
That's stupid.
So and now
That's
they've had the
very
air
poorly.
suspension failure junk on the way to Florida. I'm like, guys.
You need to not own a truck.
So,
No, it's like with
right
my dad.
now-
My dad was like, I need something that will haul stuff. I'm like, Mom's car hauls things. He's like, it's too small. I'm like, but it's not. It's bigger.
Well,
and now,
Yeah.
when they have to haul things that it's more than one bag of mulch, guess what car they use?
The
Mom's
Mazda.
car.
Yeah.
Well, they're both Mazdas. But my mom's
The Mazda 2.
The Mazda 2.
I'm not going to dignify
Yeah.
the CX-3.
Because the Mazda 2 actually hauls more stuff than the CX-3.
Which I yelled at Anchor at him. I was like,
Anchor?
the Mazda 2.
we went to Anchor, and my dad was like, my dad was like, I bought this new truck. Aren't you proud? I'm like, no, it's bad.
I was like, it's
you made a
awful.
bad decision. He goes, well, I like it. I'm like, I don't care. It's a bad thing.
Wrong.
You like something that's bad.
There's the elitism.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, but
no, I mean, it's. I qualified it with. I'm like, what did I say? I said like, and what I said to my dad like the other day was we were talking about his truck while we were in it, and he's like, this kind of sucks. I'm like, yeah, no, it kind of sucks. You're right. Like, this is a bad thing. Like, this is a terrible vehicle. This is why I like it. I'm like, that's fine. I'm like, what do you think about when people like the Knack? And he goes, what? I'm like,
The
you know,
Knack?
the band that did My Sharona?
Oh,
and
my-
he's like, what about it? I'm like, what happens if you find somebody that's a hardcore The Knack fan? Do you dignify that? And he goes, no. I'm like, I'm not going to dignify your shitty truck.
how long were you sitting on that factoid just waiting for it to be the perfect piece to come at your father? Because I'm betting it was a long
It was
time.
locked and loaded.
It was. I had that shit locked and loaded because my dad hates. It's my dad's least favorite song because he was an Isuzu salesman, and when the Trooper came out, the My Sharona by the Knack was the theme song for Isuzu.
So amazing. Did he ever sell a Via Cross new?
No, this is like in the 80s.
Okay.
My dad, like, he was a Isuzu salesman, like right when he moved to Los Angeles.
I did not know this.
For like a
This is
very,
fascinating.
I
very,
didn't know
very.
this either.
Okay.
Yeah, so he moved to Los Angeles like 1977, and he had like a couple like weirdo jobs, like from like 1980 to 81.
Okay.
He was an Isuzu salesman,
Oh my god.
and he got that job.
That's so
That's
fitting.
phenomenal.
It's really weird how he got that job because my grandpa was a Winnebago salesman.
Was
had
he
his
the
in-
Winnebago guy that I see on YouTube?
Yeah.
No, similar. But through the parts department at Winnebago, there was a variant of a Winnebago that used an Isuzu engine.
Sure.
Through that parts
GM
department
chassis.
guy, yeah. Through that parts department guy, he's like, "Hey, is there an Isuzu dealership in Los Angeles?" And the guy's like, "Yeah." He goes, "My son's looking for a job right now because his bar just closed. The bar he worked at closed down." And that's how he got this weirdo job selling Isuzus for like a year in Los Angeles. And from a thing that happened
Process this.
from like just the weirdest, like my grandpa happened to know a guy 40 years later was able to just hit my dad with the 50 caliber Browning machine gun of just, okay, so, well, actually, it's like, yeah, just like blew his fucking mind with that.
He deserves
And like,
it.
he had like a moment of clarity when I said that to him. He goes, huh. I'm like, yeah, like,
As alcoholics refer to it, a moment of clarity.
yeah. And so I was like, he finally I think it clicked. He goes, yeah, no, I bought a thing that's not necessarily good, did I? This is
And
not
we're
that
like,
good thing.
we
And I
told you.
finally, it's all about choosing your wording. And going back to the elitist thing, going full circle.
No, it's fine. Full circle's good.
Once you're an elitist, people aren't gonna pay attention to when you have that like try to give them that moment of clarity because
Yeah.
they're like, oh, this
It's
guy's
not going to blindside them the same way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like because they expect it. Like with me, if I just come at somebody with just like a weird fact, like if they buy a Mitsubishi and they're like, "This is a good car," I'm like, "Yeah, I really like the Mirage," and they're like, "Oh, they're like, why?" I'm like, "Well, they're not a good company." He goes, "But you like one of their cars." I'm like, "Yeah, that's the only one that makes sense for the price." And they go, "Why?" I'm like, "On your Outlander, do you have the stainless steel sill on your rear bumper?" And they go, "Yeah." I'm like, "Is it rusting in the corners?" And they go, I'm like, this is why the Mirage.
409.
Yeah, like because I'm not an elitist about things. I try really hard to not be one. I can hit people with these weird, just like coming out of left field, like they did not expect it. Like this guerrilla warfare tactic to get people to see my
Being
way.
that confident in possessing that obscure factoid is something that we're both really good at, but in a very different way.
It's very the entirety of this podcast is
Because
about
I'm
we
guessing
have the same thought pattern from different parts of the world.
the people that you talk to, you say that factoid and they're like, wow.
Yeah,
And then it's digested, absorbed,
and
and perpetuated.
and they're like
they
"You're
don't go search and make sure it's right. Like, just assume that it is.
Yeah, because I just came out of left field with this
Right.
weird piece of knowledge. Yeah.
I'm like, I believe it. So hopefully you never start feeding me wrong information because that's just going to stick in my
Oh,
brain
he does that
forever.
to me
I do.
all the time.
I only do that when I'm trying to, but I am capable of doing that.
Dystopian. I'm sure you are. All right, we
Really?
have one more topic. Sorry,
we
I
need to
want
push through this topic,
blow
yeah.
through this one. Somewhere last week, this ran through the tubes of the internet in mass, and there is one person in Texas that bought a brand new Honda Civic Sport in 2020 and put 250,000 miles on it in 16 months.
This guy
Hold on.
didn't sleep.
Did not sleep.
Let me.
I
I'm gonna do
wanna-
the math real quick.
I want to see the. Oh, there's auto check.
It's currently for sale still for $17,899.
So 250.
Wait, how much
200
do they want for it?
They want $17,899.
No.
It has 248,816 miles on it. It is
15?
and was delivered in 2020. 16 months.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so that's 15 and just over 15 and a half a month
That's 500 miles per day for the
Divided
entire existence of that car.
by
How on earth did this
Four.
guy do that?
I
three,
don't
almost
know.
4,000 miles a week divided by 7. So yeah, 558.
That was close.
So
like-
the guy literally did not take a day off of work.
No, and that
he woke up and just chose to drive this car.
And like servicing costs, like tires.
As his
and, like,
career.
Like yeah, like there are some days where he's probably doing 600 plus miles.
I need to know what this person's job was.
I-
I'm more interested in the person that does this in the car.
I want to interview them
Yeah.
badly.
How do you do
Okay.
that?
I don't know, but that's
'Cause, like,
so
my
impressive.
dad-
That's
is
semi-truck
somebody that-
mileage, not semi-truck.
I know.
Yeah.
Like 3/4 ton dualies and semis get that kind of mileage.
That makes
That's
sense
it.
because you're towing everything.
And different people drive them.
Maybe he did like organ transport or something.
I'll have to talk to my dad because my dad puts on a ton of mileage a year because he drives. Like that's his job.
He has a rental property
In Blue Earth.
in the Minnesota, Iowa, South Dakota, Nebraska border corner.
Oh my god.
That's where his rental property is,
No,
Why
it's,
would
it's
he
Blue
elect
Earth.
to
It's an
do
hour
that?
south of Mankato.
which is exactly there.
Yeah, Blue Earth
Yeah.
is very
But
southwest.
a lot of people that listen to this podcast aren't from
Buffalo,
the
Minneapolis?
aren't immediately from here, so that's why I had to qualify.
Okay, yeah.
Like geographically where that is.
It's very
And if you look on
southern.
a map where Minneapolis is, it's the Minnesota-Wisconsin border dead set in the center.
Yeah.
And you go from basically Minnesota-Wisconsin border in the center, where Minnesota does a little curve, to
That's where we got sideswiped.
to where Minnesota goes to the little L shape at the bottom of the state.
It's the hardest corner that our state
Yeah.
possesses.
That is a really long drive that your dad does weekly.
And it is boring, too.
Yes.
There's nothing down there.
And all you have to listen to is conservative talk radio, and this is why your dad's a Republican.
I believe that.
Yeah, that would.
But yeah, so
I could
Get
see
him,
it.
drives
If
down
get him
there.
BPM.
if most of your day is just driving around and your choices
Yeah,
are
Rush Limbaugh, maybe I am.
Yeah, so he drives down there once a week.
Thank
but
you,
he
Sean
also,
Hannity. Wow, my eyes have been opened.
But he also services apartment buildings in the greater Twin Cities metro area, and he lives in Bloomington, which is a first-ring suburb. So he does a lot of driving.
I see that.
If I have to drive from Bloomington to my house and back once a day, that's more than enough for me.
Oh yeah, when I had a 27-mile commute when I lived at my parents' house at my current job, I'm like, I need to buy a house or get a different job.
Yep, it was bad.
Yeah, not good. Now it's a 10-mile each way thing. I can handle that, but
No, driving from my house to your job is half the distance that you have to drive, and that's too much for me. I don't want to do that. I hate commuting.
yeah,
Absolutely the worst thing in the world.
I don't really mind because the times of day in which I commute,
Yeah,
I'm
it's-
Yeah,
pretty
that's
much
true.
dead to the world anyway.
Well, I mean, to be
so-
fair, I mean, I commute 10 a.m. and 6:30.
From your bedroom to your living room?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just
Or
trying to
office, whatever.
translate that into if I worked at your workplace.
I gotcha.
The traffic wouldn't be that bad, but still, I have to get in the cold car.
It's significantly
I have to
worse.
go outside.
Yeah.
I have to.
Let me
put
tell
on
you,
pants.
scheduled preheating is real good.
Oh yeah.
It's
That's
real
why
good.
you have an EV.
Back to the EV.
It is the majority of why. Before we end this episode, Scott did bring up World Cup of Cars ?
We will be doing that. Yes, movie. I'm gonna plan that for next week.
Cool.
Yeah, we're gonna do. World
That was
Cup
really
of
good.
Cars.
I liked it last time we did
And it
but-
didn't correlate with the FIFA World Cup at all
Nope.
because it took too long, and that's fine. And I'm okay with that because
That's
we're
fine.
gonna do.
The topic can do
Yeah,
other
we're gonna
things.
do. We're gonna do a World Cup of Cars.
Why shouldn't it?
Because also in 4 years the car world has changed.
And the bar behind our house is going to be open till
4
4
a.m.
a.m. for
Oh.
all the soccer matches.
That's wow. I'm surprised that's even legal.
They're not selling alcohol.
They
Oh.
sell alcohol until 1, and then 4 a.m.
That's the rule. It's just
Yeah.
the. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because their kitchen's also not going to be open during those times.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right.
All right.
We'll see you next episode.
I will see you guys soon.